everybody, and welcome back to the Mongooly Show. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Black Cat trials and what you need to do to get your absolute biggest character out of this. She is one of the best characters in the game, and you want to make sure that you unlock her as quickly as possible, or if you've already unlocked her, that you can get the biggest score and get the most shards for her that you possibly can get. Let's get right into it. Okay, the first thing we're going to be taking a look at is the characters that you need to unlock this team. Now, obviously, there's a lot of teams you're going to require, but very first up is you need to have your Nowhere team built, or you need to have your Sinister Six team built, because they're required for nodes 2, 6, and 10, depending on the difficulty that you're playing this at. Now, if you look at the Nowhere team that I've got built here, this is what I built up for the very first Black Cat raids, and I did pretty well in them. I don't believe that I have touched them since, though. This is a good war team and really nothing else. Nova, some people are taking him to DD6, but other than that, this team is pretty much dead. So it's really up to you if this is something you want to spend more resources on, or if you're just kind of happy with them where they are. Now, as I mentioned, the other team is the Sinister Six, and it is a big team. There are 12 potential members here available currently. Well, I guess there's 11 currently, because Lizard is not in the game as of the time of this recording, but Sinister Six, but Spider Slayer is available in the game. I don't have him. He's still grayed out for me. There are a number of good people on this team, and especially with the reworks, they're absolutely insane. I would say the superior 6 characters you can pretty safely take as high as you can possibly get them. So you can see I've got mine at 85 currently. They are just going to keep going. This is an insanely good team. For those nodes, depending on the level, like if your Nowhere team is already really well built up, probably you're fine to just rock them. If you don't have like Green Goblin unlocked, if you don't have Kraven unlocked, go for it. Just use your Nowhere team. You will do fine. You will at least get a 3-star, if not a 4-star, depending on how big your team is built up. But if you don't have either teams particularly built up and you're wondering which one you should build, Sinister Six is absolutely the one, as of this recording, that gives you way more value. Nova is one thing. The rest of his team is pretty lame, but this is a brilliant team. I definitely recommend building up Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus as high as you possibly can. From there, Vulture, Mysterio, and Kraven are also very, very good options. You can also mix and match with all these. You don't have to use one team or the other. So if let's say my Mysterio and Vulture are not very big, you can sub out a Nova for one of those characters, which is in fact what I did for Node 10, I believe, and it worked out very well for me. Okay, if you go to the event, as I said, you need 100,000 points to get on the leaderboard. If you can get to 450,000 points, you will not unlock her right away, but you will get her when the leaderboards pay out at the end of the week. So if you are struggling, 450 is your absolute first goal. After that, 550,000 points is going to unlock her immediately, which is really good. Beyond that, 1.1 million will unlock her as a 4-star at the end of the week, and 1.35 million would unlock her as a 4-star right now. If you get to 1.35 million, I would bet money you get enough shards from the end of the week to get her to 5 stars, but I can't guarantee that because it's a leaderboard thing. But if you can get to 1.35, you will get her at 4 stars right away. All right, if you're looking to unlock Black Cat, you are going to need to get 450,000 points, and then at the end of the week, the leaderboard will pay out and give you the rest of the points you need. The best way to do this is at level 5, gear tier 13, and then all you're going to turn on is Hired Help and World at War. Those are 2 ones that I think help you out the absolute most. You've got World at War, whether you're using your Nowhere team or your Sinister Six, both of those are war teams and they're going to help you out. And as far as the Hired Help goes, if you are using Sinister Six, like I think you should, Mysterio summons a bunch of people and Doc Ock summons a bunch of people. So, well, one person. So both of those seem like they're going to be beneficial to you more than they're going to hurt you. And that'll put you over the 450,000 mark that you need to unlock her at the end of the week. If you want to unlock her right away, I suggest you just bump that number up by 1, and you can do it right away. Now you notice that it goes up to 650,000. That's 500,000 more than you need. But quite honestly, maybe that just means you don't need to do node 10. Maybe you can get away with just doing 9 nodes and getting it on. If you want to turn some more of these scourges on, you absolutely can. But if you're just trying to squeak by, I think that's the best way to go. If you want to get a 4-star by the end of the week, you need to hit 1.1 million. If you do that, I would say turn everything on and do difficulty 7, and that should get you the run that you require. If you want to max out the event and get 1.35 million, get her at a 4-star right away, I'm going to say all you want to do is go up to gear tier or level 18, select hired help, self-preservation, and world at war, and that should get you the score you need. And that's the one we're actually going to do right now. I have not tried this. I don't know if I can do it or not. We'll get into that in a second and see if we can unlock everything we can possibly go. We'll go through all the kill orders as well as the teams that I recommend. Let's jump in. All right, if we go through each individual room, room 1 is no restrictions. You can bring whatever you want to bring in this room. I strongly recommend you don't bring characters you're going to need later on unless they're really, really big and you're convinced they're going to make it through this room unaffected. Now, the other line of thought here is don't use your ultimates. Save up your ultimates so that when you get to the node, if you are going to use a character you're going to use later on, they're at least ready to go with all of their really, really strong attacks. So those are the two train of thoughts you have. Either leave them alone or bring them up to power them up, depending on if you're punching down or punching at the same level or not. As far as the characters in this room, you're really nothing to be scared of here until Morgan Le Fay shows up, and then you're going to focus on her. But all these other characters are very, very simple. You don't have to worry about them too much. Room number 2 can be Nowhere or Sinister Six. I suggest bringing in whichever one is a little bit weaker. Save your stronger team for later on down the road. Now, as far as what you've got going on in here, you're going to have a cloak and dagger right off the bat. You're going to want to make sure you kill one of them very, very quickly. Once one of them is dead, you don't care about the other one nearly as much. Morgan Le Fay is obviously an issue, as well as 2 Scarlet Witches, which is just a lot of healing, but there's not a whole lot you can do about that. Captain Marvel and Deadpool we don't care about. Spider-Woman is actually surprisingly strong and can be annoying, but when Spider-Weaver shows up, you just have to deal with her. She's so frustrating. Now, Deathpool can be a problem, but only if she gets going. So if you're not losing a whole lot of characters here, you don't have to worry about her too hard. If you are running Sinister Six and you are running Mysterio, you probably have a lot of clones out. That could be bad and could get her going pretty quickly, so you might want to focus her down in that situation. But if you're running Nowhere team, I really wouldn't worry about her too hard. And while Gwenpool can be frustrating, I just don't think she's your biggest threat in this room at this time. Room number 3 is Mystic Villain. I think Morgan Le Fay, Doctor Strange, and Agatha Harkness are all absolute guaranteed characters you want to bring in here. If you've got Dormammu or Doom unlocked, I would bring them in as well. If you don't, then Loki and Hela are both fantastic substitutes for this room that'll do you very well. Dr. Octopus is going to spawn directly beside 2 vultures. I would definitely aim for your Dr. Octopus with your Morgan Le Fay. The splash damage will deal damage to the vultures that will take care of them. But if you can get rid of Dr. Octopus before he spawns a shocker, you're going to be in good shape. After that, you've got a couple of swarms on the other side of the battlefield, which you don't have to worry too hard about. And a whole bunch of just chaff is going to bring in. The next thing you want to probably care about, and he's not even that big of a threat, would just be Mr. Sinister, just because he can heal and he can copy one of your characters, and you don't want to have a Morgan Le Fay or a Doctor Strange on the other side of the battlefield that you now have to deal with. So I take him out as quickly as possible. If you can save Phoenix to the very last character, I would do that, simply so that when she dies and comes back, she has nobody to buff up. Room number 4 is the first global controller node. Now, it's worth noting that the second global controller is probably the hardest node on this map, or at least that's the one I found the hardest. So you're going to want to make sure that your characters leave this node relatively healthy and well prepared for that second node. Now, the characters you're probably going to want to bring in are Morgan Le Fay, Doctor Doom, Dark Beast, Magneto, and Omega Red. Omega Red is an absolute workhorse in this scenario. He's going to do a lot of good work for you. Dr. Doom's fantastic. If you don't have Dr. Doom, Scarlet Witch is a pretty decent sub in that room. All right, as far as enemies for this team, you've got a Icarus and a Silver Surfer right off the bat. Now, you're not going to be able to kill Icarus very quickly because, of course, when he goes down past a certain level, he just heals back up again, or at least I wasn't able to kill him fast enough. So I actually dealt with the Silver Surfer first. The nice thing about that is if Silver Surfer gets to go first, he's going to weaken your team, and then when Icarus goes, he's probably going to kill somebody, and then he's going to get to do the double shot, which is just devastating for you. So if you can deal with Silver Surfer first, then you can deal with Icarus, and that'll be fine for you. If you bring Scarlet Witch into this like I did, that allows you to heal after the first Icarus attack and leaves you in pretty good shape. After that, there's not a whole lot of other characters here that are going to give you too hard of a time. There are a couple, it only mentions 1 Ghost Rider, but I'm fairly confident there was 2. You do want to make sure you get rid of them as quickly as possible. They can still do quite a bit of damage with their Penance Stare, and Mordo can give you some debuffs, which are really frustrating, so you might want to deal with him as well. Room number 5 is Brawler. I found this room to be very, very simple. I had my Red Hulk ready to go. I had my Quicksilver to make him faster. I had Val. I had who else did I have? Deathpool. I had Black Cat, but I mean, obviously you're not going to have her for the first time around, but if you do unlock Black Cat and then come back with her, she's fantastic. You've also got Shang-Chi, you got Abomination, you got a lot of really good options for this room, and a lot of them you're probably going to have at already high levels because they're just good everywhere in this game. As far as things you want to do first is you want to get rid of Wong. He's super annoying. That's a lie. First thing you want to do is get rid of one of the 2 dad bros. Shatterstar or Longshot are really annoying when they're both alive, so kill one of them first. Once one of them is dead, focus on Wong, take him out quickly if you can, deal with him, and then Multiple Man will just keep making copies. You want to get rid of them as quickly as possible as well. Once they're gone, you're going to have a Minerva come in, which is not a big threat, but she can revive characters, so just keep an eye out for her. You're going to have 2 Doctor Stranges, a Morgan Le Fay, and a Gambit. Of all those, I think Gambit is the biggest threat, just because he's going to be taking so many turns and doing so many pot shots to you. And the nice thing is, because he's surrounded by other people, if you are dealing damage to Gambit, you're probably doing splash damage to the other characters as well. So that's the way I would go. Just try and take her out of Gambit as fast as possible. And while you're doing that, hit the Doctor Stranges. I think Morgan Le Fay is actually the least scary person in this room when you're left to that, when you're at that point. Room number 6 is your second Nowhere Sinister Six team. Now, what I did in this room is I actually brought a hybrid team. So I had my Doc Ock, my Green Goblin, my Kraven, my Mysterio, and then I switched out my Vulture for a Nova. Now, Vulture is a very good character, but mine's just not high enough. I like Mysterio because he gives blinds to everybody, and I like Nova because he does a lot of healing. Other than that, the 3 Superior 6 characters are absolutely amazing. They're going to give your team Safeguard to start off the round, and Nova, if you have his ultimate up and ready to go, will give himself Safeguard as well as healing for the entire team. It worked out incredibly well. I highly recommend it. Room number 7 is the Mystic Villain room. This is one where you can use Morgan Le Fay, Doctor Strange Heartless, Agatha Harkness, and then Doctor Doom and Dormammu if you've got those characters, and if you don't, Hela and Loki survive or do very well for you. Now, you're going to have a Quicksilver and a Silver Surfer right off the bat. That is a really deadly combo. You're going to want to try and get rid of the Quicksilver as fast as you can, but he is very survivable. I found I had a bit of an issue with him. Not that he's hard to hit, just that he's got a decent-sized life pool. He will bring in a Scarlet Witch, which can be a problem, but isn't the worst-case scenario, but it can just get some heals out there. You're also going to have your Archangel. Nemesis isn't too bad. Dark Beast, I wouldn't worry too hard about. And then right near the end, you're going to have an Icarus and a Magneto show up. Magneto is one of the last characters to spawn, so he's not that big of a deal because you'll be just focusing firing on him. Icarus is the bigger issue there for all the reasons that Icarus is usually an issue. So make sure you deal with him. Remember, if you do bring Doctor Doom in, you're going to have to play that fun little game of, do I want to have my bots on the field, which potentially will give him a double shot, or do I want to get rid of the bots at an inopportune moment just to make sure that they're not there and I don't get wiped because of them. If you do want to not bring Doctor Doom for that exact reason, that's totally reasonable, but just remember that that's a thing. Now, room number 8, this is the hardest room. This is the one that I actually ran into. It's just a brick wall for me. I could not get past this one on my 1.35 million run. I need to go back again and make sure that my characters actually do have all of their ultimates built up and that they're as healthy as can possibly be from the last round. With the global controllers, you're going to have access to Morgan Le Fay, Doctor Doom, Magneto, Dark Beast, and Omega Red. You can also switch in Black Widow. She's highly built. I know I'm taking mine to DD6. Whether that's a good idea or not, I'm not sure, but she is highly built, as well as your Emma Frost and potentially Scarlet Witch. Emma Frost is nice because he gives you a turn meter boost, but most people don't have her that highly built up because that's really all she does. Whereas your Scarlet Witch can actually heal you, which is really nice, and you are going to want that. Now, one of the reasons I found this room so incredibly hard is these stupid Gwen pools. Their first turn have very strong attacks. You've got Echo and whatever this Kate Bishop just like pinging you and blinding you. You've got Miss Marvel also giving herself taunt. So you've got 3 different taunt characters you have to deal with. I just found this room really difficult to deal with. I did try using a sacrifice team, and that really did help for just getting rid of the Gwenpool taunts. That was actually really nice. But even with the sacrifice team, I just wasn't strong enough to get through this at 1.35 million. I think I was going for like 1.4 something, but Either way, it just wasn't. Oh no, 1.35. Here we go. It's right up here. I just wasn't able to do it. I had to tap out. I'm going to try it again with, again, just making sure my team's healed and ready to go, and that they've got all of their high level ultimates and specials built up, and we'll see how they do the second time around. But this was an issue for me. Once you get rid of those, you're met with 3 of the Hulk siblings, and that's obviously a big problem. You want to stay away from hitting the Red Hulk as long as you possibly can. Don't give him any charges if you can help it. You're also going to have Kestrel show up, which stops your Doombots, as well as I wanted to call him Sam Jackson, as well as Nicolas Cage. Nope, that's not his name either. As well as Nick Fury, who's going to be spawning things in and has just generally gotten better as the game goes on, and Coulson, who can also spawn things in. So they're going to be spawning people in while you are not allowed to spawn people in, and Red Hulk is just going to be punching you in the face. If you think you can defeat Red Hulk quickly, go for it. If you don't think you can defeat him quickly, ignore him. It's basically all I've got for you on that one. Do your absolute best. Round 9 is brawlers again, and if they're still built up from the last time you had them, that's going to do very well for you. You're going to have access to Red Hulk, Deathpool, potentially Black Cat if this is your second run, Val, Quicksilver, Shang-Chi. Again, so many good brawlers for this node. And the Invasion team that you're looking up against here, as well as the Rebirth team, neither one of those are terribly strong. Nothing to really worry about here. Probably go for Captain America quickly, just get rid of his taunt, and Peggy after that to get rid of her ability to respawn characters. You'll also want to get rid of Nick Fury because he can bring in new people, as can Maria Hill, and she's got a nice heal on her, so they're both great characters to get rid of. And when Squirrel Girl shows up, get rid of her quickly so that she can't give you heal block and heal her team. Other than that, not a whole lot to worry about in this node. It's pretty simple. The last node, we're back to Sinister Six and Nowhere. This is not too bad of a round. However, you do have quite a few healers in that opening salvo, so that's something you're gonna have to deal with. Again, I would recommend, if you still got the Sinister Six team with Nova on it from the last node, they are incredibly strong. I really like them. I think they will do absolute wonders in this node. I did use them on my 1.1 million run, and it did work out very well, but obviously because of node 8, I'm not able to try it at the 1.35 million run at this time. The 2 Cosmos and the Nova are very, very annoying to get through. I tried going through to the Nova right away, and it's just almost impossible to get through his health pool. So you have to start dealing with the actual damage dealers, which are the Thanos' daughters. Make sure you can get rid of them relatively quickly, and then you can kind of focus on the healers when there's nothing else really hurting you all that badly. That's probably your best way to go. If you can get your Nova ultimate off quickly, that's going to give your team a ton of sustainability and will be really, really nice. After that, you've got a Kestrel, which is an issue because you want to be spawning a lot of Mysterio people as well as Shocker off of your Dr. Octopus. So you want to deal with her as quickly. Gambit is going to be taking a ton of turns just pinging you to death. After that, Kang is your only real threat. The rest of these characters should fall fairly easily, and then you're done. And that is the Black Cat Scourge. How did that work out for you? Did you get through it all right? Did you unlock your character at 3 or 4 stars or even higher if this is your second run through? I was able to get mine up to 6 stars. I'm going to be trying this run multiple times throughout the week. I really want to get the 1.35 million. How did you guys do with this guide? Did you make it through? Let me know it in the comments below. I love to hear the stories from these things where people say like, yes, it did help me. Even if people are like, no, it didn't really help, or I'd rather see the fights. Let me know down in the comments down below so I can make these videos better in the future. But hey, if you made it this far, I'm going to assume you liked the video. Go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're willing, hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit 500 by the end of the year. And if you can help us out with that goal, that would be greatly appreciated. We also hang out over on twitch.tv/TheMongoolie Show. So go over there and hit the follow button so you know when we go live. We're hanging out pretty much every Saturday morning at this point and a couple of times throughout the week, just kind of randomly whenever my schedule allows it. All right, I hope you guys do really well on these trials. I hope you score very big. I hope you get down really high on those leaderboards, get lots of those rewards. Let me know in the comments down below what your scores are. And as always, good luck to you.